I'm Amr Mansour.
And I'm Hannah Wiegand, and this is your Public Eye News. A College for Kids event was held this past Saturday by the NMU Seaborg Center. Children in grades K through 1 learned about the 5 senses. Grades 2 and 3 learned about animal characteristics and classification, and grades 4 through 6 learned about genetics and DNA. A program coordinator for the Seaborg Center said the college helps prep the students for later learning about science. The College for Kids is held 3 times every semester. The last one will be held on Saturday, April 25th. District Court Judge Jeffrey Barstow of Menominee County has granted an immunity to the homeowner who fatally shot a man last November. David Pratt Higbee has been granted immunity to criminal offenses he may face as he arises out of an alleged home invasion that happened on November 10, 2014. Higbee called 911 to report someone had broken into his garage. He then pulled out his firearm and killed 19-year-old Headon Gagnon. 2 other suspects, Matthew Friend Jose and Thomas Hartman, were found in the woods by Michigan State Police Trooper and taken into custody. Both will be charged with first-degree home invasion.
A head-on collision at Highway 14 left 2 injured on Tuesday. A 16-year-old girl from Iron Mountain hit a 56-year-old from Green Bay when she crossed the road center line and hit the opposing car. The 16-year-old remained trapped in her vehicle until she could be removed and transported to St. Vincent's Hospital. The 56-year-old female was taken to Dickinson Hospital. While the crash remains under investigation, there is no further information about the condition of the 2 women. 29-year-old Brandon Strom of Gwynn has been arrested after an alleged domestic assault. Forsyth police first responded to a domestic assault call at 12:30 p.m. on April 2nd. According to the investigation, Strom assaulted his 26-year-old girlfriend, including choking her at one point. He was taken into custody and is now being held in Marquette County Jail. A filed report shows a separate assault warrant from a previous incident. With a preliminary exam planned on the 20th, Strom's assault could leave him with a 10-year felony.
A Wisconsin mother and stepfather accused of locking their 13-year-old daughter in a cold basement with no running water will plead not guilty, according to their attorney. Allison Keller, 41, and Patrick Keller, 47, were due on Monday in Waukesha County Circuit Court for an initial appearance. The appearance was postponed for April 14th. The couple will plead not guilty to child neglect after being accused of locking the girl with low-level autism and some cognitive disabilities in a basement after school. Police in Madison have released footage of a fatal shooting in 2007 involving the same police officer who killed a man last month. The footage that was released Monday was a squad car video from 2007 showing Officer Matt Kenny fatally shooting Ronald Brandon. Brandon was pointing his gun at Officer Kenny before he was shot. Brandon's gun turned out to be a pellet gun. Tony Robinson was killed by Officer Matt Kenny on March 6th of this year after responding to a call that Robinson had attacked 2 people and was running through traffic. Kenny has been cleared for any wrongdoings. And after the break, we will have your national and international news. Stay tuned.
Inside the court of Henry VIII.
He was brutal, he was ruthless.
The virtue of ambition.
You had to demonstrate that you were useful to the king.
The art of seduction.
She wanted to be queen.
And the conviction of faith.
He believed it was God's will.
Only goes so far when a tyrant reigns. Inside the court of Henry VIII.
Join us Tuesday evening at 9.
And welcome back. The United States Energy Secretary Ernest Moniz says the nuclear deal with Iran should be a forever agreement. While some are calling it a 10-year pact, Moniz describes the negotiations as a permanent agreement with Iran in its beginning stages. Moniz, who's a nuclear physicist, has become the face of the science behind the agreement. Speaking at the White House, he said the deal isn't built around trusting Iran, but simply limiting Iran's nuclear program. This would ensure it would take at least 1 year after the agreement ends for Iran to possibly build a nuclear bomb. An explosive article in Rolling Stone magazine described a gang rape at the University of Virginia and caused an uproar. But this morning, the story is falling apart. Mark Albert is on campus in Charlottesville, Virginia.
The Rolling Stone article shined a harsh spotlight on the issue of sexual assault at the University of Virginia. It told the story of a woman named Jackie who said she was gang raped by 7 men at a fraternity party. But after several days of cracks in the story, large parts of it collapsed on Friday. The fraternity issued a statement saying it had no party on the date reported and had no members who fit the attacker's description. In a statement on its website, the magazine's managing editor admitted its reporter never contacted the alleged attackers for comment and said it now regrets that decision. Quote, there now appear to be discrepancies in Jackie's account, the statement reads, and we have come to the conclusion that our trust in her was misplaced. We are taking this seriously and apologize to anyone who was affected by the story. Shortly after the original story, UVA President Teresa Sullivan asked Charlottesville police to investigate and suspended all fraternity and sorority activities. Annie Forrest, who says she was sexually assaulted freshman year, told us last week the issue is broader than just this one story.
I do believe there is a rape culture on grounds. However, I don't believe it's unique to UVA. I believe it extends far past just our grounds.
A Pakistani man killed 10 relatives in northwestern Pakistan over a marriage dispute, just months after he killed his parents. Gul Ahmad Saad went into his uncle's home where he opened fire on his sleeping family, the police said. Saad had been running from the police for 5 months after killing his parents and 2 brothers because his father had ordered him to wait before marrying his cousin. Out of the dead, the oldest male cousin was 23, the youngest was 12, and the cousin he was to marry was 24. Police officials say it is unclear at this time if Saad acted alone. Closing arguments begin today in the Boston Marathon bombing case of Johar Tsarnaev faces 30 counts related to the 2013 bombings that killed 3 people. Chris Van Cleve is in Boston with more.
Closing arguments are underway at Boston's federal courthouse. The fate of accused marathon bomber Johar Tsarnaev could be in the hands of the jury sometime today. The 2013 Boston bombings killed 3 and injured more than 260 others. Tsarnaev also faces charges related to the murder of MIT police officer Sean Colliers.
There are legal experts who have said they're going to be back in an hour. They're going to go back out there. They're going to go check, guilty, guilty. I don't expect that. They have this massive indictment. They have 30 counts. And this is their first time that they get to talk about this case.
From the beginning, lawyers for Tsarnaev have acknowledged he did it, so the trial has been less about guilt and more about life or death for the defendant.
The defense team is led by Judy Clark, who has kept many clients, including Unabomber Ted Kaczynski, off death row. Her strategy so far is to suggest Tsarnaev fell under the influence of his radicalized older brother, Tamerlan. Much of the crime was caught on video, and prosecutors played the dramatic, graphic images for the jury as witness after witness described the events of April 2013. The jury was shown a timeline of the brothers' activities on race day. They arrive with backpacks, enter the crowd. The bombs explode, and the brothers leave without backpacks. Chris Van Cleve, CBS News, Boston.
The Easter Bunny got more than it asked for when a gun was accidentally fired during an Easter Vigil Mass in Pennsylvania. The man was legally carrying a gun during a Saturday night service at the church when his gun went off. Authorities report the gun safety was not on when the man stood up from kneeling, causing the gun to snag onto his pants and fire. The bullet grazed one unidentified man before it struck the tile floor. Police and the district attorney are now reviewing the case to determine whether the man will face charges. Harold Eek has a tough decision to make after he found out he's been accepted by all 8 Ivy League colleges. The Long Island high schooler logged into his computer last week to find the good news from schools like MIT and Johns Hopkins. Eek's resume included work with scientific research, mentoring programs, and the Model UN. His hopes are to pursue medical school and specialize in neurosurgery. While Eek is leaning towards Yale, he has until May 1st to make his decision. And after the break, we'll be back with your weather and sports. Stay tuned.
We had less than 24 hours to evacuate.
There was a sea of people wanting to get out.
It was a terrible moral dilemma. Who goes and who gets left behind?
They looked up at the helicopters and I could see their eyes. Desperate
welcome back to Public Eye News. My name is John Modick, here with your Upper Michigan weather. As you can see behind me, the current conditions are cloudy with a temperature of 31 degrees and winds out of the northeast at 10 miles per hour. The barometric pressure is at 30.2 and holding. Later on tonight, we can expect cloudy skies with a low of 25 and winds out of the northeast at 10 miles per hour. And tomorrow, partly cloudy skies with a high of 37 degrees and winds out of the northeast at 15 miles per hour. Taking a look around the UP, we can see it is 28 and cloudy in Sault Ste. Marie. In Manistee, it is 32 degrees and cloudy. In Escanaba, it is 33 degrees and cloudy. And down in Menominee, it is 30 degrees and snowing. Over in Iron Mountain, it is 34 degrees and cloudy. Up in Ironwood, it is 35 degrees and cloudy. In Houghton, it is 34 degrees and partly sunny. And back here in Marquette, it is 31 degrees and cloudy. Taking a look at our week ahead, on Wednesday, we can expect a high of 39 with a low of 32 and snow showers. On Thursday, a high of 39 with a low of 34 and light rain. And on Friday, a high of 39 with a low of 30 and some snow showers. Now, Will, I hear college basketball is all prepped for their championship game tonight.
Yep, and it's looking like it'll be a good one. The madness of March has settled with only 2 teams left. The Wisconsin Badgers and Duke Blue Devils will face off tonight at the Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, Indiana. The Badgers beat the previously undefeated Kentucky Wildcats to make it to the big dance, while Duke had no problem handling Michigan State. Wisconsin is 1-point favorites over Duke, despite losing to the Blue Devils at home by 10 points on December 3rd earlier in the season. Wisconsin hasn't won the national championship since 1941, while Duke won their last championship in 2010 in Indianapolis. Marquette golfer Jordan Jermu placed 10th in the 12 and 13-year-old division at the 2nd annual Drive, Chip, and Putt Challenge, or National Finals at Augusta National Golf Club in Augusta, Georgia. Jermu impressed the crowd with a 203-yard opening drive and a 15-foot putt in the final putting session. Jermu was surrounded by professional golfers, both active and retired, including Brandt Snedeker and Gary Player. Jordan was among 5 golfers representing Michigan at Augusta National Golf Club. The Detroit Tigers opened their season today against the Minnesota Twins at Comerica Park. The Tigers defeated the Twins 4-0. David Price was a winning pitcher with 5 strikeouts and 5 hits allowed in 8 innings. J.D. Martinez and Alex Avila both homered for the Tigers. A familiar face was in the opposing dugout as former Tiger Torrey Hunter played for the Twins, the team with which he began and spent the majority of his career. So I know I want to go see the Tigers play. I hear Sea Lions don't play nice at all.
Yeah, who knew they can be aggressive, Will? Who knew? It was another episode of Man vs. Sea Lion when a San Diego fisherman lost a battle for his fish against the wild sea animal. The man was posing for a photo with his caught fish when a sea lion pulled the man overboard from his own boat. The upset sea lion dragged the man 20 feet down the San Diego Bay before finally let go. The man survived and is now being treated for cuts. So who figured that sea lions could be that aggressive, guys? Do you know that?
No, I did not know. I guess they're the kings of the sea jungle.
You know, that is very much true. You're right, Will.
Other than that,
how do you even fight back at that point? You know, you're drowning 20 feet deep, and those sea lions can be dangerous. You know. Mm-hmm. Well, it looks like that's all the time we have for on Public Eye News. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you tomorrow.
The preceding program was produced in studios located in the Edgar L. Hardin Learning Resources Center by WNMU-TV, Northern Michigan University Public Television.